diversity. That's a painful as a topic for many Asian students in college applications process. So that's why I need to make sure that you are well informed before you make a mistake. All right, so move on to the. Let me just introduce myself a little bit. I was a professor at the School of Informatics and Computing at Indiana University for 15 years, and I retired early in 2019. And I have helped high school students get into top universities since 2010, meaning for some of the years while I was teaching at Indiana University, I helped the students already to get into colleges. And also, since I retired in 2019, have dedicated my whole time to students for their college applications. Okay, so and I also have taught a class called SAT English class since 2006, and have trained since then trained many SAT monsters. But they also excelled in ACT and the PSAT because the games are very much similar. And now I live in beautiful San Diego, California. Since my support for my students is online, so that's why I have helped the students from all over the world, but mainly from the United States and Canada. Okay, so that's my quick history. Okay, so let me just move on to the next page. Now, many of you may think that why are we still talking about diversity? Isn't that so weird? Because like it's U.S. Supreme Court got rid of affirmative action in 2023. They said stop. Okay, it stopped. Okay, in June 29th, 2023, and then most recently, the Trump administration got rid of DEI departments and agencies in the government, right? In recent months. And so, yeah, that's also like a trend, And on top of that, many large companies such as Goldman Sachs, Paramount, Bank of America, Coca-Cola, blah, blah, many of them have dropped DEI requirements as well in their job, recruitment, in their like a recruitment process. So that's why you may think that, hey, how about the universities? Yeah, numerous universities are not following the trend right now, at least not yet. Let me tell you, okay? Can I turn on some lights so that you can see me brighter light? Okay, so sorry for that. Okay, more lights. Okay, here we go. Okay, much better, I hope. Okay, so that's why many universities are not following yet. How do I know? Because you're not a fortune teller. How do you know what's going to happen this fall? Let me tell you what's going on right now. Okay, so this is the uh, summer program application season from last November pretty much till now. Okay, and then maybe some of them are not closed yet, but they are going to close very soon by like April 1st or something. But lower end summer programs, which are not competitive, they will close in May. So this year, during the process of applying to summer programs, uh, many of my students have noticed, geez, there are so many diversity questions as you saw last year and the year before as well. So that's why this trend is not going to discontinue. It will continue this fall, I can tell. So that's why these questions are continuing this fall. Keep in mind. Let's move on. Now, let's read some essay questions from the universities, and they may say, oh, I don't believe you. Now, read these questions and see if you believe or not, okay? The Princeton question is maybe it's a little bit too long, but I need to emphasize this, okay? We can read the Harvard question. This Harvard says, describe a time when you strongly disagreed with someone about an idea or issue. How did you communicate or engage with this person? What did you learn from this experience? Guess what? This 150 word question came into being in 2024, last year. Okay. And Harvard is not like original in these questions, it's a copycat. It copied from many other colleges, especially Princeton and Columbia. So that's why this first question from Columbia came into being in 2020. Okay, I don't want to tell you the long history about why it came into being. It takes too much time. But what happened was that last year, 2024, yeah, it increased the word limit from 200 original 250 words to 500 words. So that means Princeton is trying to emphasize diversity more. That happened in 2024, last year. That's why this tradition possibly will continue this year. And read the Columbia question, which is not the original version or from 2021. And so it says a hallmark of the Columbia experience is being able to learn and thrive in an equitable and inclusive community with a wide range of perspectives. Tell us about an aspect of your own perspective, viewpoint, or lived experience that is important to you, and describe how it has shaped the way you would learn from and contribute to Columbia's diverse and collaborative community. 150 words as well. Okay. Now, ask yourself, if you are a student, do you have something meaningful to say for any of these questions? Okay, ask yourself, do you have something meaningful to say? Something impressive to say for these questions? If not, think about what I can do from now on to do something impressive so that you can write something impressive for these questions. Keep in mind, everybody, okay? I'm not a politician, okay? And so, telling my students what to believe or what not to believe is not my job. Okay, I'm a college counselor, a professional college counselor. So that's why my job is to help my students know, hey, what's coming? These questions are coming to you, and if you don't know what to say for them in 12th grade, and so you're at the time where you're out of time, whatever is done is done. Whatever is not done, sorry, you're out of time. Are you going to be happy? Absolutely not. You can tell, right? So that's why and that's why I have to tell you ahead of time. It's sort of like I'm like a and like a harbinger, to tell you ahead of time for you. Hey, something is coming. Okay, all right, that's my job. Move on. So you may say like, oh, only like three colleges. Why do I have to care? I would just skip those three. Really? Let me tell you, more than 30 top colleges in the United States right now have these diversity questions. So if you don't see one here, yeah, you're gonna see one there. Somewhere you're gonna see one. So that's why it is important you know that uh, not knowing how to make such efforts, not knowing what to do with these questions is not acceptable. You know that that's the case. Okay, take a look at this table. Out of these 17 examples, I'm only give you examples only. I have listed those like in total, there are top 6 EA colleges in the United States. Okay, Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, MIT, Caltech. These top 6 EA colleges, early action. If you get accepted, you don't have to go. And so in usnews.com list, these are the happen to be the top 6, most top 6, okay? And all of them are EA colleges. Out of these top colleges, only Stanford doesn't have a diversity question. All the rest of them have one. Seriously, Princeton, Yale, MIT, Caltech, Harvard have one. So that's why, yeah, you'd better just think twice whether you want to skip this effort or not. Move on to next page. So, so I have talked about this concept in what exactly is diversity, you may ask, okay? Diversity means inclusion, to include. Let me give an example here so you can better understand. Um, in my high school CS club, a computer science club, okay, pretty much every face is an Asian face. Pretty much every face is an Asian boy face. Very typical, let me tell you, okay? Because I ask my students, and they confirmed many times. And no one feels like this is abnormal. You live in the United States, but in the CS club, pretty much every face is Asian boy. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. You think, those white boys or white girls or maybe other races, they don't want to come to compete with the Asian students in CS. Maybe, maybe not. But that's kind of a tradition. So that's why no one cares. But you have come into the picture. You are sitting here, okay, whoever you are, okay, and they say, something is wrong here. I don't believe this is healthy, So let me do something. And 5 months later, because of your effort, now um, some other ethnic groups of students have joined the CS club, and you have uh, raised them up by teaching them, bringing them out to compete, and some of them even won awards in USACO. That's like a computer science Olympiad. Okay, so wow, good job. Okay, let's say your name is John. Okay, so good job, John. Okay, so this is called making efforts to promote diversity, to include the other people who are supposed to be included but not included. Okay, so let me give you another example here. So in the in our school, maybe another school, okay, it doesn't matter. In our school, we it's my school is like a Title One school. Okay, Title One school is like a one in which a lot of students qualify for free lunch, and so this school possibly is in a not very good district, and so the education quality is not that good, and so the teachers are not really serious about teaching, and so and so. So that's why you feel like I need to stand up to do something to help other students who are from low-income families because oftentimes they don't even treat education seriously. But you care about them and you give them opportunities, you teach them, you train them, and you bring them up. And because of your effort, many of those students have excelled academically. Wow, what a marvelous job. So that is called promoting diversity. And that you're including those students in what? Academic excellence. They were not included. Now they are included. Get it? Diversity means inclusion. Diversity also means respect. Okay? Including is about respecting already. Also, diversity means like people have different opinions, different views, and they come from different backgrounds. Oh, you are different from me. That's why I hate you. I despise you. If you don't agree with me, I'm gonna kill you. How many times such things have happened in this country? Right? Too many times. Yeah, if you don't agree with me, I'm gonna kill you, right? Especially in high schools, middle schools, elementary schools. So that's why that's not healthy. Okay, so that's why colleges don't want to recruit any of those students, and they want to know you know how to handle disagreements. That's very important. I showed you those examples earlier from Harvard, from Princeton, Columbia. So that's why you need to learn about how to promote diversity and make efforts in this regard so that you have something meaningful to say in 12th grade. Okay. So, all right, let's move on. Uh, the problem is most of you, okay, I know that most of you are from Chinese family, and you say, what's wrong with that? You are charging my parents? No, I'm a Chinese parent as well. Okay, no, that's not my intention. The problem is that this is about a tradition. The Chinese people don't have a tradition of promoting diversity, and many of you are from mainland China. Now, if you're from Taiwan, things may be a little bit different. If you're from Hong Kong, yeah, things may be a little bit different. Diversity is much more promoted in those two regions or countries, whatever you call them. Okay, so Chinese government's policy toward the minorities has always been, if you don't agree with me, always been what? Those who follow me will prosper. Those who oppose me will perish. You can ask your parents; they'll understand what I'm saying. That's exactly what the policy has been over like hundreds of years, not just like decades. Okay. As a result, Chinese Americans, when Chinese people immigrate to this country, they become Chinese Americans. they would rarely tell their kids to make efforts to promote diversity. Now, if you don't believe me, I'm asking you a question. When was the last time you asked yourself, your parent, your mother or father told you, hey, son, hey, daughter, you need to go do something to promote diversity? When was the last time your parents told you to do something like that? Probably, I can never think of any moment. That's typical. That's a typical situation, because it's because of their background, not because they are bad people. No, your parents are not bad people in a sense. It's just background issue. So that's why most Asian American kids have nothing impressive to say about themselves in promoting diversity because typically haven't done anything, or little, too little. So that's my point. Okay, everyone, don't get me wrong. Okay, that's my point. All right. So then what should we do then? Okay, I heard you. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? Okay, so these are some five most typical aspects of how to promote diversity. So I promote racial diversity. Did I promote racial diversity? Did I give an example earlier? Remember, right? How about promoting gender diversity? No, many girls I helped. Yeah, told a story about promoting, like a story about the gender diversity. Okay, I every time when I stood on the podium at the DECA competition, national competition, I typically was the only girl, and that's why I felt something is wrong. That's why when I came back, I established a EM girl nonprofit organization, and I helped recruited more than 400 girls from all around the world to help them grow in business. So now many of them are excelling in business because of my training in my club, and helped them. Many of them compete and win in national, international business competitions. Good job. Okay. Many other girls talk about how to help other girls to excel in STEM, to be included in STEM excellence. Diversity is about inclusion. Some students help the students from Title I school. I mentioned that a Title I school or Title I schools excel in academics from helping those kids from low-income families. Uh, some students are gays or lesbians, and if you're such a person, you probably have something meaningful to say for promoting sexual orientation diversity. And cultural diversity is another thing you can talk about, but I typically just put on the back burner because it's hard to tell an interesting story. You can say we have like a Asian night, okay, and then we had fun, and so we had like a lot of Vietnamese food, Korean food, Chinese food, blah blah blah, and we watched like Asian movies and sang Asian songs, and then at the end of the day, and Dr. Wang, that evil Dr. Wang, came into the picture, and he asked me, what have you accomplished in that effort? And you just like think stone-faced, cannot think of anything. Cannot think of anything, So that's why promoting cultural diversity oftentimes is hard to come up with an impressive story. But there are many other opportunities. Because of time, I'm skipping. Okay, but these are the five biggest aspects you can make efforts. All right. But let me give an example here. This is a real girl, a Chinese girl, whose parents came from mainland China. So take a look at what this student did. Um, she was she established a diversity coalition club in her school. She became the founder and the president from 11th grade on. Yeah, pretty late, right? But she did a lot of things in a little more than 1 year. So she built a team of 40 plus students to foster inclusivity, friendship, blah, blah, blah. Designed and implemented a survey about discrimination at my school during COVID-19 and came up with many findings. I just skipped those parts, okay? And facilitated a weekly school-wide dialogue on social issues. Oh, if you initiate like such a school-wide dialogues on social issues, guess what? people disagree. You have like white kids, black kids, Latino kids, uh, Indian kids, Chinese kids, other kids, many of different kinds of kids, and then people disagree on issues. Oh, now I have a chance to talk about, to know how to answer those questions because you created such opportunities for yourself and for other people too. Good, very good. Next, and collaborated with Black students to organize the school district's first Black student panel, blah, blah, blah. Why are you involved in a Black students organization, And guess what? Three of my students did so. Yeah, not just like one student, okay? And many of them told a very impressive story. And this year, one of such a students got accepted was the only student from her school who got accepted by Wellesley, who very much emphasized DEI. Okay, and not this girl, but another girl. Okay, and that girl, the second girl, was influenced by this girl. Organized the district's first Stop Asian Hate Day of Solidarity, blah, blah, blah. Facilitated the dialogue between club members and the school resource officer in response to the murder of Dante Wright, blah, blah, blah. So this student did a whole lot of things. On top of those things, she was also part of the Black Women's Voices as a facilitator. So she worked with nonprofit Humans Minneapolis, a partner of Living Room Conversations, blah, blah, blah. And then she spent 4+ hours a week, 6 weeks over the summer facilitating conversations by preventing crosstalk and encouraging listening. And these opportunities she created for herself and for her fellow students because she was my student. Her students, other students in her school were not. So I told her, hey, you need to do something in this regard. Give yourself a chance, give other students a chance. So when they apply to colleges, they would have something meaningful to say as well. She did, okay? And this student got accepted in early action by Yale. Okay, so now let me read you an example of a Common App essay. Okay, so this student graduated from high school 3 or 4 years ago, and he wrote one of the most impressive essays to talk about his diversity promotion efforts. Take a look. Dim classroom, lollipop sticks and paper scraps lying all over the floor. A rowdy group of girls conversing loudly. A single boy sitting shyly in the corner. The first practice is still fresh in my mind. Sure, I coached math before, but this was different. My journey began in ninth grade when I started to volunteer at my middle school to train students for math competitions. Seeing my students excel brought a great joy into me. So I continued coaching my middle school while simultaneously expanding my efforts to create a bigger impact. After spending most of my life in mathematics, I could hardly ignore its lack of diversity. Virtually all the math competitors and researchers I knew were either white or Asian. So, in 2021, I initiated my boldest endeavor yet, an extensive initiative to enrich diversity in mathematics. Okay, that's a very good introduction. Move on. Because I had no easy way to directly contact underserved or underrepresented students, I contacted their schools. I saw the schools with the Title I funding and then contact their administrators. That was a big mistake, okay, the student made because, yeah, you're not supposed to contact those principals because the principals, no, they don't care whatever you want to tell them, okay? No, you better just contact the teachers directly. If you want to teach math, you better contact a math teacher so you can get direct, information directed like a response from the math teacher. So if you contact principal, right? So what is the principal going to do? The principal have to like relay the message to the teachers. This teacher, that teacher. Do you think what's the chance that the principal is going to relay the message? Almost like a zero. So that's why it's a waste. Take a look. I emailed almost the 50 schools, receiving countless no replies, rejections, and unfulfilled arrangements. Nevertheless, I persisted. Finally, I was able to push through with the Twin Cities International Schools. Yeah, the students from Minneapolis. A middle school composed entirely of African American students. Oh my gosh, 100%, 100% African American students. Satisfied, I immediately started a math club there. So yeah, this student made so many efforts to get just one school to promise, yes, please come. And eventually he got one. Okay. So if he contacted the math teachers, probably he wouldn't have gone through so many rejections or no replies. Okay, lesson learned. Let's move on. To reiterate, it was different. I saw that immediately. The students initially struggled with the basic linear equations and the probabilities. To train them effectively, I discovered that I needed to augment my instruction. After testing a few different methods, I started buying small prizes, brownies, sodas, and had the students compete for them. It worked like a magic. The students, motivated by the treats and fueled by playful rivalries, eagerly absorbed and applied the material, no matter how challenging it seemed. Two students in particular stood out. I told my students, right? So we have right now it's like a big picture, like making a movie. You have like a sound of music. Starting with Maria. Okay, you don't start with you don't see Maria in Sound of Music. How many of you watch the Sound of Music? At the start, the movie is has like a camera going through the sky, the clouds, and it gradually go to the top of a mountain or hill, whatever you call that. And then the music comes up, right? And then you see like a Maria coming to the top of the hill. I go to the hills with my she begins to sing, and then you move to the chapel, and you see other nuns that know how to solve the problem of Maria. Okay, so that's like you have like a establishing shot and then close up, medium shots and close up. You see the details. So that's why I told him writing these application essays is no different from making a movie. It's a combination of different shots, establishing shots, medium shots, close-ups. So you must have close-ups. So here we go. Okay. So no matter how challenging it is, two students in particular stood out. That shy boy I mentioned, Abraham, approached me uh, after several after several practices with curious questions. I was excited by his obvious thirst for mathematics. Okay, indeed, his math teacher, see, the student worked very closely with the math teacher. Why? Because you don't know the grades from the students after you have taught them. The teacher does know. So that's why he worked very closely with the teacher to get to know their class performances. Okay. So indeed, his math teacher, Mr. Jibril, later informed me that Abraham would often come in before and after school for extra math. Another student, Ayan, also impressed me with her intelligence. She eagerly learned much of the extremely difficult material I threw at her and was willing to tackle many new, challenging problems. Their progress over the months has moved me. Their math skills flowered. Their school grades improved drastically. How do you know? Because the teacher told him. Okay, their personalities blossomed according to Mr. Jibril. Abraham's shy carapace has melted away to reveal a humorous and a friendly character. Alongside Abraham, Ian's curiosity and the collaboration skills have mushroomed. They even won fourth at the Math Counts chapter competition, something that literally none of them expected. Look, these students didn't this like a winning a math competition in out of school had never happened in the school history. But because of this, my student Now it happened. So this is really, really impressive. Okay. So they didn't expect that. More importantly, their motivation has skyrocketed. Growing close to these African American students over the months, learned of their magnificent dreams. Scientists, they wanted to become scientists, dermatologists, businessmen. In their pursuit of math, they their schoolwork and extracurricular. Okay, so did I miss something? They have improved their schoolwork and extracurriculars. With their dreams in sight, their prominence and prominence has been illuminated. They are well afoot already. Remarkably, I realize I've improved alongside my students. I've gotten real-world experience by taking initiative, communicating with administrators, and organizing events. I've gained invaluable knowledge regarding underserved communities and the ways to benefit them. More importantly, witnessing the immense improvement of the students, seeing their hard work come to fruition, brought more than joy to my heart. I felt a strong sense of pride for being able to play a small part in bringing these children's dreams closer to reality by instilling in them curiosity for learning, ability to accomplish a goal, and most importantly, confidence. Okay, seeing the host of future became, as Mr. Jibril put it, much more confident and started applying themselves more in possibilities stemming from a small math club. I'm simply inspired. Okay, so not done yet. I can still smell the served pizza and fizzing sodas at that pre-summer break party. After a year of hard work, I smiled and waved them goodbye. In that moment, beaming back at me, I saw future leaders, future problem solvers, future lifesavers of our community. Okay, so yeah, so this is a real example. This student I coached ever since the beginning of ninth grade and helped him grow academically and non-academically. So everyone, let me put this way. So this is something that a lot of Asian parents and ignore, and Asian students ignore to the point that they will become a good fit for they will become a good fit for the stereotypical image projected by people from other race groups. So that's why let me tell you. So academically, okay, let me put here academics. Okay, academics. Okay, so you're talking about like a GPA, and also talking about academic competition awards, and they're talking about research, if any, and also SAT score or ACT score, doesn't matter. Okay, so take a look. These are some of the things that a lot of Asian parents and Asian students care about a lot. You do need to. You have to care about them, okay? I'm not saying you cannot. You shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You have to care about them. However, we only call these things what? Necessary conditions, okay? They must be there, but not enough if you want to get into a top US college, okay? So that's why, and they say, you're so mean, Dr. Wang. What else do you want? What else do you want? Okay, non-academic, okay, not academic. And what are they? Okay, okay, so these are the non-academic things. Okay, leadership, community service, and diversity promotion efforts. So they constitute something else called sufficient conditions. Sufficient, enough. Okay, otherwise not enough. Okay, and that guess what? Numerous Asian students are not strong. They have done something in leadership. They have done something in community service. Probably they haven't done anything in diversity promotion. So anyway, they're not strong. But when you apply to colleges, when you face these questions, or maybe you don't face these questions, but they give you an option for you, an opportunity for you to talk about these things, and you have nothing to say. You keep talking about academics, academics, academics. You sound like a nerd if you talk like this, okay? So that's why, and many parents think that, oh, there's a term, right? The 小中男, especially like Chinese boys, okay? Like Asian boys, okay? And they say, oh, it's so difficult for Asian boys to get into those top colleges these days. Really? Is that true? Take a look. Every year, my students, okay? Every year, so many of them, boys and girls, many boys as well, got into top colleges. Okay, why? Because I trained them well. Okay, so that's why you must be strong in your leadership, in your community service. I'm not saying you do something. You must be strong. Otherwise, yeah, you don't have a chance. So that's why it is important that you do very well in these non-academic components. All right. All right, so let's just stop here and then uh, I need to explain this a little bit here. Okay, so yeah, after you have listened to me, you may say, Dr. Huang, it sounds like you are asking me to make these efforts simply because I need to answer those questions in 12th grade. Uh, is that right? I cannot deny the fact. Okay, that's true. Okay, one more time. What did I say? I'm a college counselor. I see these questions coming to you. I need to warn you, they are coming to you. Am I doing something wrong? Tell me, am I doing something wrong? Okay, it's very utilitarian. Let me tell you. Okay, on the other hand, if you start this journey, you make these efforts, then you will begin to learn, whoa, what it really means to be a nice human being, what it means to be a good leader. Yeah, what it means to be uh, a good citizen in my community. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot about these things in the process. So that's why the process is utilitarian, but the result is about personal growth, everyone. Make sure you understand me.